Have you ever tried to speak and suddenly felt invisible? It happens everywhere. In meetings, with friends, sometimes even with the person you love. And most of the time, we react the same way. We smile politely. We whisper, "Sorry, go ahead." It seems harmless, but each time you do this, you silently teach the world how much your voice deserves, or doesn't deserve, to be heard. Today, you'll discover 3 words that can stop an interruption instantly. 3 words used by Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. Simple, timeless, powerful. Stay until the end, because once you know them, you'll never struggle to be heard again. And if you too believe in self-mastery and quiet strength, subscribe. Here, we grow together in the Stoic way. Part 1: Words and Power. The Stoics understood something most have forgotten. Language is power. One word can start a war, another can restore peace. A single sentence, spoken with calm and conviction, can change a life. For words shape the way men think, react, and remember. Seneca once wrote, "Brevity and calm in speech carry more strength than the loudest cries of the crowd." It is not volume that creates authority, it is presence. The inner steadiness one feels in a tone, in a gaze, in the silence before each word. And that truth remains today. The swords and shields are gone, but the battlefield is still attention. Every word spoken seeks to claim a fragment of that invisible territory. If you cannot hold it, you lose influence. If you cannot defend it, you fade away. And sometimes, that fading happens quietly, a slow, almost imperceptible erasure. Each time you whisper, "Sorry," you tell the world, "My voice is worth less than yours." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each day, do not be distracted by what is meaningless. Stay anchored to what matters. Your words matter. They are the reflection of your mind, the boundary of your inner world. Guard them, or others will claim them for you. Part 2. The first word. Listen. The first word is listen. Why does it work? Psychologists call it an orienting signal. The human brain is wired to pause, to focus, and to prepare to receive something important. This word triggers an ancient reflex, the instinct to lend an ear when a voice worthy of attention speaks. Imagine this. You're in a meeting. Everyone's talking, the noise rising. Voices overlap, each person trying to be right, but no one truly listening. You don't raise your voice. You don't strike the table. You simply say calmly, "Listen, here's what we need to do first." And silence follows. Not because you threatened anyone, but because you imposed calm. You created a space of attention, and within that space, your words gained weight. Epictetus used to do this with his students. When the room grew noisy, he wouldn't shout. He would simply lift his eyes, look around, and say, "Listen." And suddenly, all fell quiet. Not out of fear, but out of respect. For the one who knows how to listen naturally commands those who only know how to speak. That is the lesson. Silence obeys presence. And that presence, you can embody it at any moment simply by choosing your words with intention. And you? Have you ever tried using listen to regain control? Share your experience in the comments. Part 3. The second word. Important. The second word is important. Interruptions happen because people believe their thoughts matter more than yours. They often come from impatience or the need to prove something. But the moment you calmly say, "The important point is this," everything changes. You're not arguing. You're not trying to dominate. You're simply redefining the hierarchy. You're showing, without aggression, where the true priority lies. And the human mind reacts instantly. It locks onto what is important. This word works like a beacon, guiding attention, illuminating what must be seen before everything else. Marcus Aurelius would often begin his discussions in the Senate with these words: "The important matter is discipline," and immediately the noise would fade. Because this word imposes direction. It draws a clear line between what matters and what can wait. In daily life, it might sound like this: "What's important here is that I finish this thought. The important detail I wanted to add changes everything. You no longer ask for attention. You claim it. You establish a frame, and that frame naturally invites respect." But a word alone isn't enough. Importance fades if it isn't grounded in the present moment. To say something is important only means something if you embody it. Through your calm, your gaze, your posture. And that's where the third word reveals its full power. If this message resonates with you, consider subscribing. Each week we explore Stoic tools to live with calm and quiet authority. On Part 4. The third word, now. The third word is now. Later can wait. Tomorrow can be postponed. But now cannot be ignored. It is the only moment that depends neither on promise nor on memory. Seneca wrote, "Life is divided into 3 times: what was, what will be, and what is. We truly possess only the last. To say now is to bring people back to the present, to anchor them in reality, the place where decisions are made, and where things truly change. It's a reminder, in a single word, that action exists only in the moment. Imagine someone cuts you off mid-sentence. Instead of withdrawing, you simply say calmly, 'Now let me finish.' The other person stops, because now is not a suggestion, it's an awakening. It brings the conversation back to what is happening here and now. It's an unspoken reminder. The present moment is the only stage on which we can still act. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, reminded his students, "It is now that we must practice philosophy, not tomorrow." With listen, you capture attention. With important, you establish priority. With now, you anchor the moment. These 3 words form an invisible thread, connecting presence, clarity, and action. But there remains one trap. One word many people use that destroys it all. Part 5, the trap of the word. Sorry. How many times have you done this? Someone interrupts you, and without even thinking you say, "Sorry, go ahead." It seems polite, but it's a poison. A social reflex that feels harmless, yet quietly erases a part of your presence. Because in that exact moment, you're not just apologizing. You're asking for permission to exist in the conversation. You're stepping back, as if your words were worth less than someone else's. Epictetus warned, "No one can diminish you without your consent." When you yield with sorry, you give that consent. You imply, unconsciously, that your voice can wait, that your thoughts are not worth hearing right now. At work, it undermines your credibility. At home, it slowly teaches others that your words can wait. And as this pattern repeats, you become a spectator to your own conversations. And one day, people stop listening. Not out of cruelty, but because you've trained them to. The world reflects the exact amount of respect you give yourself. Seneca once said, "Calm brevity persuades more than anger." But calm is not submission. It is the quiet strength of one who no longer needs to apologize for existing. So if sorry is the trap, what's the alternative? Part 6. The alternative. Listen, there's more. The answer fits in a single phrase. Short, clear, powerful. Listen, there's more. Imagine this. You're speaking, someone interrupts. The rhythm breaks, attention shifts. Instead of stepping back, you look at them calmly and say, "Listen, there's more." The interruption stops instantly because these words carry a simple message. I'm not finished. And what I'm saying matters. They draw an invisible boundary, firm yet respectful. They remind the other person that your thought has continuity and that it deserves to be heard to the end. Even in your closest relationships, this changes everything. When you replace "sorry, go ahead" with "listen, there's more," you reclaim your space without anger, without struggle. You assert your presence without forcing it. The Stoics called this the discipline of speech, the ability to choose every word with intention, to speak little, but always with precision. Epictetus said, "Silence is mastery, but to command silence is greater still." When you say, "Listen, there's more," you command silence toward yourself. You give it form and meaning. You regain control with calm and dignity. And in that brief moment, you prove that one can be heard without ever raising their voice. If this message resonates with you, leave a like. It helps this philosophy reach others who might need it. Part 7. The Stoic Lesson. At the heart of Stoicism lies this truth: your words reveal your character. The way you speak is the way you live. Epictetus said, "The discipline of speech reflects the discipline of thought." Seneca wrote, "Brevity carries more power than volume," and Marcus Aurelius reminded, "Waste no words on what is unnecessary." So remember, listen to capture attention, important to set priority, now to bring others back to the present, and never again say sorry when your voice deserves to be heard. Replace it with, "Listen, there's more." This isn't manipulation, it's presence. It's living in a way that commands respect, without ever needing to ask for it. For the one who embodies respect never needs to demand it. He carries it wherever he goes. So, practice these words. Let them transform the way you speak and the way you are. And you, which of these words will you use first? Share it in the comments. And if you wish to strengthen not only your words, but your entire way of living, subscribe. Together, we learn to live unshaken. Together, we grow in calm authority.